Hillary Clinton made a surprise visit to USC today and talked about the fight against terrorism.
And diversity in the media is the focus of a discussion happening on campus tonight. You're watching See It Live. Presidential candidate Hillary Clinton talked with USC students and faculty at the Campus Center today about foreign policy and diversity. The Democratic candidate continued her campaign today in Southern California. Good evening, I'm Neha Whateker.
And I'm Eytan Wallace. Annenberg media reporter Maddie KEAVY is live in Hollywood at a Hillary Clinton fundraiser. Maddie, what?
Directly behind me is the Avalon, where in just moments that Hillary Clinton's fundraiser is about to begin. Now, tickets for this event started at $250 and went as high as $1,000 for VIP seating. But Hillary isn't the only special guest that's expected to show tonight. There's actually going to be musical performances by Ben Harper, Estelle, and Mary J. Blige. Now, the line started forming today around noon, and we got here early to talk to some of these supporters.
I'm voting for Hillary for a plethora of reasons.
Very tough person. She can withstand attacks. She has the most experience in domestic foreign policy.
I mean, the fact that she negotiated a ceasefire between Hamas and Israel so quickly, most troubled Secretary of State. I know she's been fighting for women, children, and minorities for 40 years. She is the revolution. She is the cavalry.
Now, just around the corner, Hillary Clinton is actually finishing a taping at Jimmy Kimmel Live, and her motorcade is expected to arrive here at the Avalon any moment. For Annenberg Media, I'm Madisen KEAVY. Back to you.
Hillary Clinton took part in a panel discussion at the Campus Center today about keeping our community safe from terrorism.
Cannot allow our nation to be pitting groups of people against one another. We cannot give in to panic and fear. It's not in keeping with our values. It's not effective in protecting us, and it plays into the hands of terrorists.
Clinton was joined by Los Angeles Mayor Eric Garcetti and 4 other panelists. Garcetti announced his endorsement of Clinton for president back in November.
I know my colleagues, my former colleagues here in the city of LA and public safety, and not just the city but the region, the Los Angeles region, are preparing, continue to prepare. It's an ongoing level of vigilance. As I said to the secretary, in LA we know the wolf is always at the door. Whether it's pandemic, violent actors, catastrophic wildfire, catastrophic earthquake, or a cyber event, those are the things that keep us awake here.
Senator Clinton is expected to make more appearances across California as we get closer to the June primary.
And Neha, one of the few students in attendance at the forum with Hillary Clinton today was student body president-elect Edwin Saucedo. He joined us live in studio to share his takeaways from the event. Edwin, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
So let's get the secret out of the bag first. Before we went live today, you told me you, quote, freaked out when you heard that Hillary Clinton would be coming and that you would be able to go. Explain to me what you mean by this.
Yeah, I mean, it's such an exciting opportunity to be able to host a presidential candidate here at USC and to be part of that planning process to really make it all happen. And we got news that she might be considering coming to USC last night around 6 p.m. And it was really a team effort to, within 24 hours, turn around and really make the event happen. Interesting.
Now, let's actually talk about the actual event now. Who was there, who hosted it, and what was discussed?
Yeah, so the event was, I believe, hosted by the LA Mayor Garcetti. They talked about counterterrorism. They talked about different stereotypes against Muslim communities and things that LA has been doing to be at the forefront of counterterrorism here in the city.
Now, I should share with you that a number of students Annenberg Media spoke with felt actually that it was unfair that only a select few students were invited to this event. What is your response to these students and their analysis?
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, I wasn't really choosing the students that got to attend. It was a joint effort between undergraduate student government, political student assembly. We were given a very specific amount of students that were able to attend, less than 30 students. And it was just a very private event in general. it was a missed opportunity to have an event where we could have invited more students, but it was really unfortunate in directions that we got straight from the Clinton team, so there's nothing that we can do about it.
And at the actual event, obviously, Clinton had discussed her plan to combat terrorism. So are you able to discuss with us what she had said about that?
Yeah, I mean, she touched a little bit about some of the things that she sees bad going on and some of the things that she wants to do anti-terrorism, but I think that what the panel was really about was her listening to some of the initiatives that Los Angeles has been taking on, and so she really cares about listening to the different communities and making sure that we're taking a holistic approach to all the different initiatives that we do going forward.
And in terms of solutions to actually combating terrorism, one of the many solutions she felt she should focus on if she were to be president would be to offer inclusion to those who might feel isolated. So what did she offer in this sense?
Yeah, I mean, she talked about being able to be inclusive in all different types of environments, so being able to bring religious leaders together and being able to host events and rely on local governments to really take these efforts and initiatives and make them possible. And so when we're talking about not only emergency situations, but also other situations in which we can break down these stereotypes and dilemmas and really work together to identify as one people as opposed to many different groups of people.
Interesting. And speaking of inclusion, your predecessor, Rini Sampath, actually has fought hard as president to try and have diversity and inclusion on campus. How are you going to continue her legacy when you become president?
Yeah, so I think that really starts with listening to the student body, listening to student voices, and seeing what they want, what is the issues that are really impacting them. And upon hearing all those different voices, continuing some of the efforts that we have going forward, but also adjusting them to make sure that they're really representative of all different communities on campus and no one feels isolated. Everyone feels like they're an included student at everything that they do at USC.
And so you just gave what you hope to do, but what about those watching? What about the community and others, this general student body? How can they help?
I think one of the biggest things is first participate and give us their opinion on different things, but also educate themselves and come out to different programs that might be outside of their comfort zone. So, for example, if you are a Latino student, come to a event hosted by the Black Student Assembly or so on and so forth, where you're just really taking in the different cultures that are at USC and don't feel like you're being isolated.
Okay, Edwin, thank you so much. We wish you best of luck in your term next year. And now I'm going to throw it over to Neha. Neha?
Thank you, Eytan. USC students took to Twitter to share their surprise at Clinton's visit, but not everyone was happy to have her here. Harrison Collazo tweeted, "Hillary Clinton is at USC and all the closed-off roads make it more of an inconvenience than an excitement." Michael R.K. tweeted, "Hillary Clinton, you should let more USC students into your talk on terrorism with Eric Garcetti. The venue is large enough." Others, like Elena, were excited. She tweeted, "Hillary Clinton is on campus. This is not a drill." Mark Vong tweeted, "Hillary Clinton is on campus. Will she lower our tuition?" An Annenberg alumna is covering the Clinton campaign for NBC News. Monica Alba talked with us about the Democratic debate.
All of this is to showcase her foreign policy experience and everything that she did when she was Secretary of State in what I think is a show and a preview of what we may see in the general election, which is a Hillary Clinton versus Donald Trump. This is what she's going to use the most to differentiate herself from him on, foreign policy and her experience. She did this 8 years ago and she failed at it, so she's a very different candidate this time around, and she's a humbled candidate.
Alba says while Clinton did fail 8 years ago, she feels ready to face Trump in a general election.
Now, Neha, it wouldn't be a political event without some opposition. Bernie Sanders supporters gathered outside Hillary Clinton's event today as a reminder that the Democratic frontrunner does not have it locked in just yet.
Bernie Sanders has the most comprehensive plan for us to refinance our student debt, as well as for our brothers, sisters, friends that are coming up into college right now to make sure that they can afford an education when they deserve it.
I support Bernie for many reasons, chief among them being that he is the candidate who has best convinced me that he will do everything in his power to reform the criminal justice system that continues to allow people like myself to, to be harmed and to be killed in ways that are extremely unjust and then have people face zero consequences.
I'm out here in sort of a protest, more to make a statement about the people's will. And really to protest the super PAC contributions to Hillary Clinton's campaign.
Tonight, Bernie Sanders is holding a rally in Yakima Valley, Washington. Last night, thousands of Angelenos waited outside the Wiltern in Koreatown hoping to get into the Sanders rally. We asked people waiting in line why they support the senator's campaign.
I feel like the folks here at the Bernie rally, they're like-minded folks. They care about inequality, justice for all.
Economic justice. Nobody else is identifying economic injustice in America right now the way that he is.
I'm a Bernie supporter because so far he's the only honest candidate running for president as of right now.
You were at the event last night. What was the feel of the event?
So the event was really interesting. When I went there, I was expecting maybe some of the chaos that we've been seeing in the Trump rallies over the past few weeks. It wasn't like that at all. In fact, actually, the rally was incredibly peaceful. It was tickets only, so there was a very organized line that had formed around the block. Plenty of people were there waiting for Bernie Sanders. They wanted to see their favorite candidate, even though they knew they might not have a chance to get in. But the police, the security who were all around there, they were really just there to make sure everything went as it should, and it was a great rally with high energy, really smooth evening.
Very good. And you may remember during the award season, the hashtag #OscarsSoWhite.
Now, another hashtag about diversity issues has made its way to USC. Annenberg Media's Taylor Edgehill has more on this.
Thanks, Neha. I'm here in the Wallace Annenberg Hall where in less than an hour, diversity in journalism will be the topic on everyone's mind. A panel discussion here tonight focusing on the hashtag #JournalismSoWhite will target the lack of diversity, particularly among people of color, in newsrooms across the country. At the panel tonight, we will see former LA Times columnist, now with CSUN, Sandy Banks, Annenberg adjunct professor and reportedly producer Kim Bowie, lead video editor at #EmergingUS and Annenberg alumna Jenna Pitaway, Fusion correspondent Jorge Rivas, and finally BuzzFeed reporter and tonight's moderator Adolfo Flores. The discussion will be held here tonight at 7 p.m. in Annenberg. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks, Taylor. We're joined now by Jordan Holman. She's the president of USC's National Association of Black Journalists. Jordan, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So we wanted to talk to you tonight a little bit about diversity in media. And my first question for you is, how do you feel that your education here at Annenberg has prepared you to go out into the world? Do you feel like there has been enough discussion here at school about diversity?
I mean, there can always be more.
We're getting him to respond.
Because here in Annenberg, we're in Los Angeles, which is filled with diversity. A lot of the stories that I've reported, that my friends have reported, have dealt with it. But in the classroom, there's always more of a discussion with diversifying the class, diversifying the teachers who are teaching us about it. So there's room for improvement, but that conversation is definitely happening.
Okay. And do you feel that the students that you're surrounded by, your professors, as you mentioned, do you feel that they reflect a diverse group of people and that you're hearing different opinions and you're getting different types of thoughts in your media?
I mean, I guess it depends on how we're defining diversity. I feel like we definitely do need more racial diversity, but then also we could consider the backgrounds of our professors, socioeconomic class and whatnot. I think the great thing about journalism is that they have reported on those communities and they can give us that perspective, but it's kind of priceless to have someone from that community talk to us about it.
And as somebody who is a graduating senior, congratulations.
Thank you.
You're about to go into the world and you're about to start your first job. What do you hope is the diversity and the environment that you're going to encounter in your first job?
I hope that it will be encouraging to pitch stories about communities I'm a part of, communities that maybe haven't had those stories told, and that editors in that kind of newsroom will receive that and not just try to stereotype or typecast, but find nuances in every different story and just like kind of bolster and uplift those communities for those stories.
Sure. And just the last question for you, you know, we've talked a little bit about what you're hoping to see. What are some things that you think we've succeeded in terms of diversity in the media? How far have we come?
I mean, I'm still young, so a lot of the things I've seen have been in like a small amount of time, but I think we've done a real great job just in the past few years with publications like BuzzFeed and Fusion, where they really do tell stories and encourage their reporters to tell their own stories and share their own truth. So I think the digital space is such a great place to just tell those diverse stories that maybe have to work a little harder to get in TV and newspapers.
Yeah, so the internet and technology, again, is helping us.
Here to stay, yeah, in a great way.
All right, well, thank you so much for joining us tonight,
Thanks
Jordan,
for
and we really
having me.
appreciate it. Good luck in your new job.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Thanks.
So you can follow, for more on tonight's discussion, you can follow us live at Twitter. At Annenberg Media, I'm Neha Whateker.
I'm Wallace. Thank you for watching See It Live. From everyone at Annenberg Media, we wanted to let you know about this scene in Hollywood. Right behind me, this is a show with a bunch of live content, so there you go. Hillary Clinton in Hollywood. And you can watch us on the web at uscannenbergmedia.com. Good night.